Endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Watching and listening to Triversity Talk. I am your host, Wendy Stewart, and I hope you're all having a fabulous evening. Well, it's fabulous because you're here with me, right? And here we are again. I have another really fun show for you tonight. I just have to share this with everybody. I had yet another big birthday. They're all big birthdays these days. And this was on Sunday night at Pangea in New York City. I had 18 performers, 2 stages, 125 guests. And the thing I have to tell you that I am most proud about, everybody talked to everybody else. You know how you go to places or you go to parties or whatever, and you have one section of people and another section of people, and people just kind of polarize. And I have to tell you something. Because of the pandemic, social things have gotten weird. We cannot deny that people have gotten weird. It's made a lot of us like not, I don't know, so social these days and fearful. And I was very happy that everybody talked to everybody else at my event. People met people. People got booked for jobs. You know, entertainers were always out there looking for work. So to make a long story very short, I'm so happy today. I really am. Oh my God. And I just got funny Monday after this big brouhaha. I had to call back for a film, and if it had been a zombie film, I would have felt a lot better, because that is how I felt on Monday. But I got a call back for a film, and I found out today that I landed the role, and that is all I'm going to say. And I'm just really happy about that. So this person that I have coming on this show tonight, I had seen her at a wonderful Tuesday, once a month show called Nouveau Riche. And it wasn't just her piano playing. It was her energy. It was the fact she did a cover song that night, but she made that cover song so much her own. And then I go on to her YouTube and I see, my God, talk about making things her own. She does parodies that will knock your socks off with lyrics that are like, whoa, ho, ho. Got to see her again perform. So she was one of the amazing people that gave me the gift of performance for my birthday, for which I am eternally grateful. This is what I love to say about my next guest. She may have left her heart in San Francisco, but you know what? She was born to be in New York. She is known for her show Under the Golden Gate Bridge and her book, Girl Shock. I dressed as a girl for Halloween and she took over my life. Hate when that happens. But she is brilliant, left brain, right brain, and my God, does she have stories? Without further ado, let's give a warm round of applause for Maria Konner.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Wendy. Thank you so much for the intro. And congratulations on landing that movie role.
I know. Well, thank you. Yeah, it was great. You know, the last thing I wanted to do on Monday after that party was to like even go anywhere. I was sitting just looking at my gifts. I still am. I didn't even open all of them because I feel like if I open them, then the magic is just going to be over. It'll be officially like
Hanukkah versus Christmas. You want to extend it out.
Thank you for getting that. And also, if anyone is in near Port Jervis, New York this weekend, I am having yet another party at Mom Papa Joe's, and that will be on Saturday, the 21st at 3 p.m. So, come party with me. It's all about partying, Maria, isn't it?
Oh, yeah,
right?
That party you had was, oh my God, that party was amazing. Like you said, everybody was mingling in the outfits and the entertainment. It was like, you know, this is like why I moved to New York. It's like, I love San Francisco.
Thank you.
And I hate humidity, right? But I'm still here, and I never think of San Francisco because this place is like a dream. It's like we spent all of our lives trying to get somewhere, right?
Right.
And then when we get there, we're like, oh, now what? Like enjoy it and be people like you,
Right. And that's interesting to me that this was a big dream for you because, I would think San Francisco, I have a wonderful friend, Tina Benet, who's in our community. Tina couldn't wait to leave New York to move to San Francisco, and she's absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
You were what, 15 years in San Francisco?
I was in the city of San Francisco for 15 years. Before that, I was a straight boy in the suburbs, married to a woman, living on a golf course on a cul-de-sac. The neighbors drank wine. I played golf.
Okay. We're backtracking here, Maria, because I love, first of all, I love transformation. Anyone who knows me knows that. And this is, very extreme.
Boring. Yeah.
No, you know what? Of course. And that's why you are who and what you are, the fabulous Maria Konner. But it is hard to believe that, my God, you got a golf course, huh? I'd be ready to jump out of my skin.
I actually played golf. I wasn't like a crazy, I'm a person, I love doing lots of different things. And golf is something to do, and I did it occasionally. But I liked living on a golf course and I could hear crickets and frogs at night. That's what I really liked, actually. I lived the fairway was right behind my apartment, my house.
So not only were you on a golf course, you were on the fairway.
I was on the 12th fairway.
I don't even know what that is. I'm not a golfer. I just can't even imagine.
It's you're living in the suburbs, but you can actually hear crickets and frogs, and your backyard is dark. I grew up in a house like that. I grew up in the suburbs, but then lived overseas. But when I was in the suburbs, we had a backyard, and I used to hear the crickets, and the window would be open, and I would listen to the crickets, and I felt like I wasn't alone, I like hearing insects and animals when I go to sleep.
Oh my God. Okay. So we connect on a lot of things, but I will share with you my love for frogs. In the weekends, I am in Pennsylvania. I put in my own frog pond this past year. Okay. I had at this point, in the summer, 25 frogs that I could count, come out all. I loved hearing them. And sometimes I would come out. There was one that would sit on the bench with me, and he would go. It was
and then one starts and the others start going. And my wife at the time, I wanted to sleep with the door open, and she's like, "The frogs are keeping me awake." And I'm like, "I want to hear the frogs." We couldn't agree on anything.
I know, but that was the beginning and the end. If you have a partner that doesn't like the sound of frogs and you do, Maria, that is a red flag.
You need to be able to like frogs. So then I escaped from the suburbs, and that's where the story begins.
Okay, so that's the book. Can you, hold it up again. So give it a moment. Hold it really close to the eye of the camera on the computer. All right. So you lived this existence in the suburbs for how long?
Oh my God, the suburbs in California for 10 years?
10 years.
And then I lived in the suburbs. I lived in the suburbs my whole life, other than when I lived overseas when I was a kid.
Right. Now, how long were you married for? How long were you married for?
I was married for 4 years.
Okay.
And, I worked in tech. I mean, I still do. I commuted to Silicon Valley. My neighbors talked about wine. You name it. And I was.
You and I probably wouldn't have even been friends. Although I would have known there was something running.
No, you would have. First of all, I wouldn't have looked like this. It would have been less fabulous.
No, but I would have sussed it out. Believe me.
I was a fish out of water there, and people thought I was kind of a kook. I don't watch sports. I'm not interested in. My next neighbor talked about his lawn. Wine, a wine dealer next door. I mean, it was terror. It was like a castle, like a prison, but
no, I know you were like
an ivory tower, an ivory dungeon. It was horrible. And everybody was in tech and talking about tech, and everybody thought the same. And I wanted something different.
You wanted something different. So what was pivotal for you, Maria, that made you leave that marriage, leave the golf course? What was the turning point?
Yeah, I mean, there were so many things building up to it, but the final point was when something like this is I was just bored the suburbs, and then I was always interested in people who were a little odd. I saw my first trans women when I was lived in London when I was a kid. I wasn't like, I wasn't like I was like into trans people. I was just like I appreciate it. I appreciate lots of things. And
Right.
so for Halloween, I was like, let's cross dress for Halloween. I was like, let's do it. Because she was a makeup artist. I think it was my idea. And we did it. And we went to, and she was an AA junkie. Like, so we go to the party and there's like nobody there. And the party's over. I'm like, I'm all dressed up. I want to party.
Yeah, I want to go somewhere.
Next year, right? At this point, the marriage was falling apart. So, and at this point, I was just like, I just knew I had to move. And I was always into like playing music, but I didn't perform live that much, right? I had piano at home and I used to play in bands locally. And I was like, and we decided to get divorced. And she's like, well, you keep the house. No, and I'll move to the city. No, girl, you're staying in the house and I'm moving to the city.
Right.
And
you were for it.
And, what happened was when I left San Francisco, when I moved into San Francisco, I did not wait more than 1 or 2 days before I got dressed up as a girl and went to Divas, the transsexual bar that was a block away from where I moved to.
Wow.
From that point on, not 24 hours later, 48 minutes, I was looking at this TS world of San Francisco and I never went back. I literally did not have one sad moment because I was not going to be some sad divorced person.
So you moved out of your house, because I want the whole story. You moved out of your house in the suburbs. She kept the house. You moved to San Francisco proper, the city.
Yes.
You had an apartment a block away from
Divas.
Divas, right?
Which is in this book, of course.
Right.
And,
This book, yeah, because I do want to talk about that. And the rest
was a block away from the TS bar. We're not talking about any TS bar. We're talking about one of the most famous TS bars in the world.
Right.
In San Francisco. Yeah.
Can you tell our audience what those initials stand for, Maria?
Divas?
No, Diva. Yeah, Divas. You said TS bar.
Oh, TS. Sorry. A transsexual.
Okay. Thank you.
So,
I'm always trying to, share and educate for people.
Yeah. Just remember, don't let anybody tell you there's any definitive, that a certain term means a definitive thing. These are all guidelines.
Absolutely. So you, and that was what, 15 years of your life in San Francisco?
That was 15 years of my life.
Wow.
And, once I started doing that, it was just like, next thing you know, since I'm a pianist, somebody pulled me up to the piano. I mean, they didn't have to pull very hard. At Martuni's, the big piano bar in San Francisco. And next thing you know, it's like I'm performing as a woman. Like, oh, how did that happen? It was just like, and then
hey, hold up a second. This talent, first of all, I told you, I find you fascinating in that you have brilliant tech ability and you play the piano and you write lyrics. Okay. Most of us are just like the creative. You do both. You do the left brain, right brain. So
I write music and lyrics. Yeah.
Play the piano like nobody's business. You're not just someone that plays the piano. It is like she bangs the hell out of that.
I was really into it. I was like, I would just spend hours at home. I've always had a piano. Like, to me, not having a piano is like not having a toilet.
Wow.
Like, if you're feeling upset, like, where's the piano? I mean, I felt upset. I went and played the piano. I mean, like, I'm not going to drink. I'm going to play. Like, I can't even conceive of how you could not have a piano at home. It's like not having a toilet.
Right. Well, for you, right. It's like, it's a lifeline. So you grew up, you grew up all over, actually. You were born in New Jersey.
I was born just outside New York City, Livingston, New Jersey. Let's see, famous people from my hometown: Chris Christie, Chelsea Handler, Jason Alexander from my hometown. I went to Chelsea Handler's sister. We went to the same elementary school.
Okay.
Anyway, so I grew up there, but my father was in the travel business, and we started off. We started off living in London for extended periods of time. He lived overseas most of the time. I joined him. So he spent a lot of time in London, traveled around the UK, and then eventually started running safaris in East Africa.
I've spent time, of course, a lot of time in Africa. That's very cool.
It was amazing. And he ran the safari. So I was going on hot air balloon rides, flying on these little airplanes, meeting people from all over the world. And he ran gay tours. He ran, tours for Saudi Arabia. So, famous actors, Jack Lemmon, Michael Crichton, National Geographic. I mean, he just loved anybody who was weird. He was like,
your dad really ran what we would call high-end tours. Can you say the name of the travel company?
And well, back then it was called Park East Tours, which is no longer around.
Okay.
Then he joined Abercrombie and Kent, which is
Yeah,
actually
this is all high-end luxury
he
travel.
spent a lot of time working with them, and then he went out on his own again, and he was that kind of thing. Yeah. And so I met Alice Abercrombie and Kent, the guy who owned it, whatever his name was. So we would travel around as VIPs. I was flying in the 747s when they had lounges, sleeping on the couch.
I remember that you were a little kid when this was happening.
Yeah, I was like 10, 11, 12.
Wow.
And I saw my first transvestite in London. Like I met all these like strange, interesting people. I saw gay tours. It was like everywhere. People were really into science and nature.
Had a lot of people on the show that transitioned later in life, but always knew when they were young, like your age, like Ted, like you said, you saw your first transgender person. You were 10 years old, but I've had a lot of people on that identified. Okay. Transgender from the time they were really young. They just knew. Did that happen for you, or it was something that you came upon?
I would say yes and no. First of all, certainly not in the same sense that other girls. I didn't feel like I was transgendered. What I felt like when I saw that transgender woman, transgender people, was I loved the fact that they were doing what they wanted to do. I was telling everybody to go fuck themselves. Right. That's what I saw. Fuck them. And even my mother's like, yeah, look at the transgender woman. My father was like, I think she looked great. Good for her. He was like, and I'm like, fuck them. Yeah. Just her attitude, the way she carried herself. I totally got it.
You got it.
Hated what American culture was.
Right.
Where I grew up. I'm saying I hate American culture. I hated the town I grew up with.
Well, you don't like what's conventional. You're not a conventional person.
Being programmed and being told what boys do, what girls do, being so focused on money. It was like half Jewish, half Italian. I'm Jewish. The mob boss lives in my town. I was in a band with the mob boss's son. I mean, it was just that whole thing was so gross to me. The fact that people who were like alternative, like somebody was trans, like they were doing their own thing. And I was like, yeah. So that part I absolutely knew. I didn't feel like I was trans. I thought to me, it was kind of a lark. Like I would do it just to see what it was like, just to like rub my nose with other people. Right. But I didn't really feel trans. That came later.
Okay. How old were you when it came? How old were you when you started to feel that way?
When I started really feeling trans? The moment I got divorced. Well, the thing is, it was really a process. Because, well, not really. It was probably sometime after that. So let's just say that I was in my late 30s, early 40s when I got divorced, which means early 40s. And you're probably running the calculations, right?
But believe me, I don't do that.
I'm like sitting with it. Anyway, so I would say the first thing I noticed when I literally went from 0 to 60 faster than a Tesla, right? We're talking about the speed of like, a flashlight, speed of light. I remember I was always kind of a performer. You didn't know that. I was kind of a performer in a way. I just didn't do it on stage. I produced plays at Carnegie Mellon where I went to business school.
I saw that you went to CMU. My niece went there. I know so many people that went there.
I went to business school, but I spent a lot of my time at the College of Fine Arts.
Ah, okay.
Producing shows. Yeah, it's like.
Well, there it was,
Yeah, one other thing is I was actually the valedictorian of Carnegie Mellon Business School, MBA. And at the same time, I was producing shows over at the College of Fine Arts because that's what I really wanted to do, And to me, it wasn't just like making comedy shows. It was making shows that had like, were poignant, which had a point,
Right.
I was in band. So I was always like, and I was a public speaker. I was a lobbyist,
I read your resume and I printed out what you sent me. It came to like 7 pages on my printer. It is really fascinating because you are good at everything you do. Let us even say great. And the fact that you were Carnegie valedictorian. Yeah. Did anyone ever say that you were incredibly gifted when you were in school?
They did. Yeah. And it was like, to me, it was like I learned stuff easily, right? But I also, I thought a lot of it was just my attitude, really. I knew what was noise and what wasn't. I can smell bullshit from a mile away.
Yeah, I have that trait too, right?
Brainwashing going on, like, I'm going to show you a picture. The brainwashing going on to American children programming us to act this way or that way was so blatantly obvious to me.
Right.
I mean, it was like, duh. And I actually wrote about it in my book.
Let me see this here. Oh, you have the pictures of the brain. Wow.
This is the monoculture virus brainwashing the little children.
So who did these illustrations?
A guy named Diego Sandoval. So I hired. What I did was I sketched these out. I wasn't nearly good at this, but I sketched the ideas. Right here you go. Wow. So I love working with comic book people. So this is the introduction to my book, and you can see where I wanted to make people realize that I wasn't making fun of American culture. I was only making fun of the town I grew up in. I'm not saying. Right. So he just said, "Oh yeah, it's like 100. There's 500 white people in my high school class and 2 black people." That pretty much says it. I grew up in a white neighborhood, right? And you had this evil virus, was attacking us. So there was just a way I just perceived it. I could tell that what politicians said, what Americans, what was on TV. I just knew it was bullshit.
And it's so funny that Chris Christie came from your town.
I went to high school with his younger brother. Yeah.
Oh my God. Like he's epitome of a lot of the things that you're talking about.
Yeah. And so I instantly knew, like I would look at something and I would say, well, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. This person's trying to bullshit me. Everything I ever did, I saw from a very creative perspective, right brain, and so sure, I was smart and everything, but I think I really do think a lot of it has to do with being trans. Honestly.
Well, no, I got to tell you, you are really onto something here. And again, I'm not a scientist, I'm not an educator, but I found some incredibly brilliant, and the same thing, the left brain, the right brain thing, which really fascinates me, and people that are trans. And I don't know what that is. Maybe you know more than I do.
So let me finish my story, and then you'll understand what I mean by trans. So trans is just a word, right?
Right.
So one thing so when I started going out, so to get back to the story, so when I first moved to San Francisco, did I feel like I was trans when I was out there? No, I was just having a fucking great time. To me, I was in a costume. It didn't, it was sexy. I was pretty, straight guy dresses up as a girl, looks sexy, at first it was just, I just was acting. I wasn't, I was character acting, meaning I was finding the woman inside of me. Because I was naturally very flamboyant anyway. My father was kind of a dandy, right? I think he was straight. Pretty sure.
It's funny. I got that impression when you were talking about your dad, but I loved his attitude towards life.
He just loved. He would go to the weirdest person in the room and start talking to them, right? So to me, at first it was just this thing. I'm just having fun. It wasn't like there was no identity there. I had this power of performing. I like doing this, and then I started realizing it. I started opening up all these doors. Like I started getting closer to women. I started learning more about women. And I learned all their secrets, which I wrote about in the book.
They're in the book.
And some of these even women either don't understand or they would argue with me because it makes them look bad. But you know something? We all have dark sides. So to me, the whole attitude I wrote about was the dark side. There's this whole side of you you're not trying to show. And I'm like, no, that's the source of all your problems. If you're trying to cover something that you are or you're afraid of it, you cannot blossom. You know what I mean? Literally. And it was
What were some of the secrets? Can you talk about some of the now you've got me transfixed. Can you talk about some of the secrets you uncovered?
Sure. Do you want to hear the most controversial one?
Well, yeah, if you can find a way to clean it up a little.
You are going to hate me for that. I don't even know if I should even give you the number one, but let me do it. Let me just do it. I'll tell you the best story then. So I said to this girl I know, this woman, that I learned a lot about women. She goes, "What do you know about women?" Right? And she's talking to me when I'm the dude, right? So she knows that I'm Maria, but Janet, I know more about than the average guy, And she's real negative. Okay, what did you learn about women? All right, you want me to just give you one of them? She goes, yeah. She's like, you could tell. She already decided I have no idea. She's going to strike me down.
Right.
Well, I hate to say this, but it really is all about the dick. And she goes, oh, yeah, you're probably right.
She said, so she agreed with you.
Yeah. I obviously don't mean it's 100% about the dick.
Right.
But it is a big factor in a lot of relationships. Not all relationships. It's not everything that's there. But I don't think men understand just how important that is.
Okay, so
Honestly,
I'm going to give you the other side of the coin, hon. Listen to this. And I've had this conversation. You know, I have so many wonderful gay men friends.
Yeah.
And I've had this conversation. I really believe so many gay men, it is all about that.
Yeah.
And even, and I'm going to defend women right here, much more so than women.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think of that?
Oh, you mean the fact that this is what men
for gay men, you know, and the conversations and all of that, it's always about that, right?
Well, with gay men for sure. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I have been to so many gay male orgies. I mean, like I wrote about some of them in the book. I mean, wow.
How many are in the book, Maria? So we want people to be motivated to buy your book. How many are in your book?
There's all kinds of I call them the sordid detail section of the book, right? And I do want to get back to the women thing.
Yeah, I do too. So let's go back to
I might remember superlatives are never appropriate. But oh my God, I've been like, let me give an example. I could come up with a million stories, but here's one story. I was so used to it was shocking to me what men were doing. I used to go to these parties, like, you know, they were communes, they were families. I'm not going to say any names, but they were institutions. San Francisco really is an incredible city. It has such deep institutions, you know, of course, the court system, you know, all these gay families. And so I got so used to gay men just suddenly having sex with each other in the middle of a party in front of everybody. So I invited my friends to these parties, these two girls had never been to a place like that. And I'm talking to them and these guys start getting it on in front of them. And I don't even notice. I don't even think it's anything unusual. And you can see that the girls are getting really uncomfortable, but it didn't register with me that there was anything wrong with what they were saying.
Right.
They were freaking out, and I didn't even realize it until they said they have to go because these men were having anal sex. I mean, you know, bareback anal sex right in front of everybody.
Wow.
You know, and I wrote about that, and it's like, imagine how difficult it is for me to talk about this in a public forum where some people might be offended by that.
Of course.
Like, for a variety of reasons. Maybe they think it's disgusting, maybe they think it's immoral, or maybe they think I'm violating somebody's privacy or I'm making fun of gay men. But at the same time, this was what I experienced.
Right.
And
you can only
I'm not making fun of anybody. It was shocking to me.
Right.
It's truly shocking how easy gay men can have sex with each other. And it still is. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that it is so different from anything that I ever experienced before.
Right.
You know? And they are way off the scale compared to women. So when I say about women, it's all about the dick, I don't really mean that. I wrote a book and you got to say something bold, right? So obviously I don't mean all women. Obviously I don't mean it really is all about the dick, right? But sometimes it is, right? And men can say the same thing. Sometimes it's all about the boobs. But I just don't think men understand how important, some men are caught in their romance. I think a woman should love them for who they are. And that's true to a large extent. But if you don't have the goods, if you don't know how to use your dick, you know, some women just won't date you. If you have a small dick, it's just.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we've all figured it out. By the way, Maria, you've given me the perfect segue to show your video clip. Now, this is just perfect. So, this is an original parody that you wrote.
Yes, it is.
Okay, and it's fabulous. Thank you. We're gonna play it.
Well, I didn't write the music.
I know we know the music, right? But
it's a modern version of Matchmaker.
Okay, I'm sure.
Here's my own version of Matchmaker, but updated for the current age, living in this city. Tinder and Grindr, make me a match. Find me a cock, I'll get me some snatch. Night after night, I'm surfing porn, but I just want some flesh that's warm. Adult friend finder, I'll bring the whip. You'll have the swing, make sure there's a grip. Bring me to a place that I'm longing to be, right here down on my knees. For the lover an angel for the poor, but making black as can be for me. Well, I love the danger, so grab me and shove me and watch me scream. Tea estates, make me a match, find me some love, or just hit me a scratch. Just like a dog, I know I can learn some new tricks to make us burn. For the lover, make her an angel. For the pervert, make him black as can be for me. Well, I love the danger, so grab me and shove me and watch me screaming. Tinder and grinder, make me a match. Find me a cock, I'll just get me some snatch. Sitting at home is no way to find love. So send me a stud and give me some bud and find me a fine of my own, and find me a love or a girl of my own. I remember back then when all these romantic songs really foretold what we believed was our romantic future. And now the world is just so much more complicated. But I wouldn't have it any other way, because after all, you wouldn't want to live in a fairy tale, would you? Love that Chicago ending. That
there you go.
You know what? First of all, I love that clip on many levels. All right. You're incredibly talented, which comes through. You're very, very funny, which comes through. Your whole perception and the way you look at things comes through with your lyrics. And I imagine you at a piano bar that could be surrounded by a golf course in Palm Beach or somewhere like that, playing that tune.
They do the straight people love. You know what the biggest untapped market on the planet is? You ready?
Tell me.
The curious straight person.
Oh, I would think, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They are very, very interested. And the interesting thing to close on why, when did I discover I was trans? And here's the interesting thing about it is I didn't decide I was trans. I just changed the definition of trans, right? Because as I experienced all of these wonderful things happening where people like me better when I'm a girl, even the straight people, like, I can't explain this, right? But the only explanation I can come up with was I could act any way I wanted when I was a girl. I can kind of act like my dad, all excited and joyful about being around people, exploring things. I could just act naturally. And for some reason, they like me better when I'm a woman. So I guess I'm trans.
So do you like you better as a woman? Do you like you better as a woman?
I'm not sure. Yeah, okay. I think so. But I have no problem being a man. I like being a man.
Right. I get
like what I don't like about being a man is being invisible. Not being allowed to express myself.
Right.
So it's like I'm perfectly fine being with a man and being in a relationship with a woman and, making this just a stage thing. But that's not the way it's worked out. So I have so much more fun as Maria, and it's so much easier hooking up with guys. All I need is a lot of marijuana and some alcohol. I can fucking guy. Makes me feel like a woman. I'm not really into the guy. I just like feeling like a woman. Feel great.
I love it. Have you been doing readings of your book? Now tell me when your book came out.
So my book came out in actually 2021. So it's going on about a year and a half. So it's the
so you came out during the pandemic.
What's that?
It came out during the pandemic.
Yes, and that was part of the the marketing challenge was that I wanted.
Yeah.
I would go into bookstores. You call up the bookstores or you send them emails. They hem and haw. I show up to the bookstore and says, "Hi, Maria Konner. Oh my God, you look fantastic!" And they carry the book. Right? I don't want to do is show up. Right?
I love it. I love your marketing. What a great marketing plan. Now, did you do readings and signings in places?
Well, here's the problem: is at the time nobody was doing any of that stuff.
Right.
So I did do some readings. I did do some signings. But I never got sort of the escape velocity, to have the book, be picked up by a PR agency or something like that. So I had to kind of do a lot of that on my own, hire somebody to help me out. And then at the time I did an audio book. Oh my God, that was a ton of fun.
You did your whole book. Oh my gosh.
At first I was more of a pain in the ass. Like people, you got to do an audio book, got to do an audio book. So I started doing it. I hired a producer, Dan Karkoska, DJ Deck, my trusted producer, and to listen and everything. So I'm recording it and I'm thinking of it as a chore. So I get through the first chapter, and by the time I got my stride, I started enjoying it. I realized, my whole attitude's wrong. I have to redo this whole thing. This is supposed to be fun.
Right.
I'm not supposed to just read what's on the page. I'm supposed to relive it.
Oh, yeah. You're supposed to perform those words.
So I just scrapped the whole thing. And I was like, so instead of saying, I could not wait to go out to Divas, I would say, I could not wait to go out to Divas. Oh, my God. And I would get dressed up. I would be Maria when I did it. And it was really fun. And then it was time to promote it. And I had some music that I'd written. So Dan was like, why don't you do a Girl Shock the Musical? I'm like,
oh my God. See, this is where we're going with this. This is it.
Yeah, absolutely. I wrote the musical. So the first song was this, I said, he goes, why don't you start off as a really pop song? I said, well, I wrote a couple of really stupid songs. They're silly. And he goes, why don't you adopt one of those? And I played it for him. He goes, oh my God, that song's amazing. I'm like, that's a dumb song. It's a silly, goof, and that became the Girl Shock song. Girl shocked, I'm tired of being all alone. You got me girl shocked. I had more fun than I'd ever known. And when I go out in the city and I'm feeling really pretty, that kind of thing. So it's just this ridiculous song, which is actually a pretty good song, I guess.
How do you think, Maria, where does this come from? Because you seem to be able just to do it. Were you always able just to do it? This is the left brain, right brain thing?
Yeah, I was actually.
Always could just do it.
I could. I don't.
Even the way you play the piano, it's so incredibly fluid. You weren't a kid that had to be put in front of a piano for piano lessons.
Oh, no, I saw my sister playing. I remember going up to our grand piano. We had a beautiful grand piano in the house, which I still have. That's the
you
one
do. How fabulous.
Steinway M that Ben Meisner, my mother's father, bought for her in 1947.
Wow.
1947 M with a fantastic left pedal. Anyway, so I didn't know what it was. I crawled up in it. I saw these hammers, and I saw my sister playing it. I saw all the music, and when I saw the music, I just had to know how to do it. It was so curious. I was like,
you just knew.
I can do that. So I told my mother I want to take piano lessons, and I did. And after about a year, I quit. I was just bored. Right?
Of course you were. You just probably created music by yourself after that, right? You just got it and knew how to do it.
I didn't know that I could. It never even occurred to me until my mother said, well, why don't you learn? Maybe you'll like the saxophone. So I literally learned how to play the saxophone in one day. I got a saxophone. The next day I was playing it at the school, Star Spangled Banner and Home on the Range, because I could read music already. Right. So I got bored with that. She goes, I'm going to try you one more time. And then she introduced me to Les Silver, my sax teacher from Livingston, New Jersey, who introduced me to the 12-bar blues and jazz.
And that was it for you.
And he was so animated. He was so into what he was doing. I was I'd never seen an adult that was so into what he was doing.
Right. And you love that. You immediately, that was like a magnet for you. And
I said, you mean I can make up my own notes? And he goes, yeah, you want to try it on the piano? You can play the piano. He taught me the 12-bar blues, and I quit the saxophone. And next thing you know, people are introducing me to Oscar Peterson. I'm listening to Steely Dan, and I was just amazed.
Amazing.
Create music. You could take the way you feel, and you could channel it through this magnificent instrument, the Steinway. I mean, I was so lucky to have one.
Yeah, you were. But you know what? I think talking to you, even if you didn't have it, you would have found another way to get something to channel that musical ability.
Yeah, I would have found a guitar because when I heard the Beatles' Day Tripper,
Oh yeah,
I needed. Then I got a guitar.
right.
So
How many instruments do you play?
Varying shades of good and bad. My main instrument is piano and a guitar. That would be acoustic guitar, electric guitar. I can play the bass guitar, which is kind of similar. Pretty well. I'm a decent bass player. I'm not a great bass player, but I'm a good bass player. I can play the drums, although I probably at a high school level, I'm not very good. I can hold a beat. I can kind of.
You can do all of that.
I can sing, and I can play the sax, although I haven't picked it up in years. I sucked at the trumpet. Can't play that at all. Organ, of course.
There's all this stuff with music with you, Maria, and it's such a passion, right? Where everything can come out through the music. How did you end up working in tech? I need to know this.
That's the dude. You see, you've been talking about Maria. Remember, this book has two heads in it.
Right. I only know Maria.
You're asking me about him.
Yeah.
Right. I was always into I loved technology. Think about me playing the piano. In order for me to play the piano and do what I did, I needed to learn how to read the notes and the scales.
Yeah, of course.
I was always I immediately picked it up. I picked up math and all that stuff so easily.
Oh, you're math oriented too, of course.
I was lucky to get that. So, and I think what interested me in technology back then was the people that were interested in it were smart. I liked smart people.
Yeah, you like smart.
I still do. There's still, even though as much as I hate technology and I work in it today, I do like going to lunch with tech people sometimes.
Well, because you can have those conversations.
They are very smart, and they talk about not just Bitcoin, but the economic conditions and the financial forces, and their
right.
What's the future of society, and they love Star Trek, and they're talking about power and over decades, and I love that kind of stuff. So I always love that. I love the fact that you could write software and make it do something. It was like
it is like writing a song for someone like you to be able to write software.
Yeah, and it was very easy for me to do. And
wow.
I could make games and I made all these goofy games in school, and people loved it. And I figured out I'll just be an engineer. And I got an engineering degree, and I worked as an engineer because it was easy.
Jesus.
It was really easy. It was just tedious.
Right.
I got to hate it after a while. It's just everybody's okay. So all right, I did this. I'm on to something else.
But you're kind of finding a balance in your life now, right? Because you're performing in New York. You've been at Birdland.
Yeah. So I really am really lucky. I mean, just to even have the opportunity to be in New York and be around you fabulous people, it's just I could go on for hours about that. And so when I came here, I I literally came here a year ago, December, just over a year.
I know it's such a short amount of time, because when I first saw you at Nouveau Riche, I'm like, where has this person been hiding?
Yeah, I just moved to New York in July.
Wow.
And, I came here just to visit a year ago, and then just had this epic week, and then playing with these amazing musicians. I ended up the end of my first week, I was playing with Billy Joel's original sax player, Richie
wow.
Canada, at his jam. I was which is every Monday night, which is amazing. You guys got to go. What an amazing band. Bitter End every Monday night, 10 p.m. And so I'm just playing with all these amazing people, and I'm like, oh my God, Sarah Sigel's dying. I got to move to New York. And then when I got here, I'm like, I'm going to get my musical produced. And then I ran into Jackson Sturkey.
Right. I adore Jackson's been on the show. Another unbelievably musically talented person. Yeah.
So I ran into him a year ago. I was playing at when I first got here, I didn't know anybody. I just literally showed up to where's the Club Cummings.
Oh my God. Well, you know what? You started at a good place. It's Alan Cumming.
I knew enough to go there.
Right.
Somebody told me to go there. So I showed up there, and I literally ordered a drink, and somehow 20 minutes later, I'm up on the stage playing piano. I don't even remember how it happened.
Right.
And next thing you know, they're like, oh, you got to come here tomorrow. And that's where I met Jackson to do this Broadway thing. I don't really know any. I know a couple of Broadway songs. So I went there, and they said, oh, it's Sondheim night. Sondheim had just died. And I'm like, I don't know any Sondheim music, right? But then I remember, I do the Madonna song from Dick Tracy. Sooner or later, you're gonna be mine.
Oh,
And
yeah, of course you know that song.
yeah, and I hammed it up on the piano. I did all these like blues licks. And Jackson tapped me on the shoulder and said, "You had the best song tonight." I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, and then next, we were hanging out. Now he's producing my musical.
Right. And you and Jackson are like kindred spirits. I adore him. And another majorly talented person and a really great, fun person to be around. Now you had, oh my God, we're coming down to the end. So I want to get this in. You had a show called Under the Golden Gate. Oh, yes.
So when I to be real quick, I'm rekindling it here. And the idea is that we basically film, high quality audio and video and film interesting people around town.
I love it.
Music and live performances. And I did it in San Francisco. And we ended up doing it at the Kink.com Armory, the headquarters of Kink.com, the SF Armory. And we had several celebrities on the show, including one of the Go-Go's. Right.
Oh my gosh. I love the Go-Go's.
I got a video of her doing things to me. Whip.
We'll just leave it at that. And anyone could go and find Maria on YouTube and see there's a lot of videos on there.
Yeah, and of course, my favorite part was interviewing people's lives, but I got very few hits until I started interviewing porn stars. Right. So like they had literally 10,000 times, and I wrote about all that in the book. Right. Anyway. So
hold on. Porn star interviews are really the ticket to celebrity.
Everybody was talking about gentrification. Gentrification. We bring somebody from the Guardian on. We want to talk about gentrification. Fine. So I got the editor of the Guardian on. I'm interviewing, about changing San Francisco, and we got like 40 hits, 40 views. Right. I had a porn star who used to be a Mormon who works at Kink.com who's shooting gay porn. Right. And he's talking about his life. I got like 50,000 hits.
Right.
Do the math. It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Right. And then after that,
that's what people want,
But the interesting thing about interviewing porn stars is I wasn't interested in hearing, believe me, I asked them about the most disgusting things they've ever done.
I'm sure that you did. I have no doubt.
Oh, yeah. But I really wanted to know what their lives were like. How did they change other people's lives? So even though I was doing smut, I really found their lives fascinating. And aside from the smut, I've interviewed trans people, lesbians, gay people, drag queens, you name it, for the non-kink stuff. And there's a tremendous amount of insight about people's lives that I really loved and never got to, scale out because it's the internet. And we're going to be rekindling that here in New York, starting off with filming.
I think that is like amazing.
Yeah.
You have to let everybody know when you start this up again. Can you bring back the former Mormon who became a porn star? And that you had me at Mormon.
Yes.
The Mormons are trending right now. There's stuff on Netflix. It's like it's interesting because you would agree it's a whole other culture.
It is. I got a great Mormon bit. So he did Mormon porn, right? Right.
Wait, hold on. What's Mormon porn?
The underwear. The submissive discipline. So the teacher or the
okay, I got it.
Is disciplining you, and you're wearing your plain underwear. And anyway, real quick, I can end. And so he made more money selling Mormon porn off the porn video than he did on the porn video.
Wow. And if he were really into good branding, and your mind would understand this, he could have sold the Mormon underwear as well.
He did. That's how he made his money, selling the Mormon underwear.
He did with Mormon underwear.
He made more money on doing that than the porn, fees or whatever.
There you go. Everybody's got a gimmick. Isn't that what they say? Maria, you are absolutely fabulous. You're funny. I'm hoping I get to see you performing again soon.
Oh, we got a bunch of dates. Go to my website. The next one is the 27th at the Secret Room. 7 p.m. Jackson and I are doing a 20-minute set. And
on the 27th, okay.
That's going to be at the Secret Room on the 27th.
Secret Room, okay.
27th I'll have it on my website. And then I'm going to be doing my cabaret show at Pangea.
Yes.
Coming up. I'm trying to form a rock band, but it's so hard getting musicians.
Okay, but when is your show at Pangea, your cabaret show at Pangea?
Probably going to be sometime in March.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep me posted. Keep everybody posted. You are
musical. Yeah.
As I was saying, how do you solve a problem like Maria? Well, you don't. You just let her be.
How do you create a problem like Maria? Have a
fabulous night, Maria. Thank you, everybody.
You were wonderful, Wendy.
Yes.
What a party. What an energy. I love you.
Thank you. I love that you were there, really. I said the new girl in town. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.